Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for another of our Aquam Insights sessions. My name is Leon Burke, and I'm a director here at Aquam Consulting. In today's session, what we'll be doing is having a look at the integrated Infor hospitality solution, and we'll tease out the efficiencies and the cost savings that Infor provides. Firstly, I just want to say that I'm presenting from Melbourne, located on the lands of the Wurundjeri First Nations people. The Wurundjeri have lived here continuously for over 40,000 years. I want to thank the First Nations people in all the lands for their care of those lands, the water and the animals, and I pay tribute to their elders past, present and emerging. Today's presenters are Craig Dennington from Infor and myself. Craig today will take us through Infor's integrated operational solutions. He will explain how Infor manages the guest experience from check-in through to the operational reporting that it provides. He'll explain how Infor's AI allows hotels to learn and project out pricing. And he will overview Infor's workflow automation as it allows hospitality people in hotels to redirect staffing efforts away from management and into bettering the guest experience. Craig will hand over to me then, and I will provide you with an overview of Infor's financial management solution, Infor Sun Systems. And we'll go through how Aquam deploys it specifically for hotels. In coming weeks, we'll do deeper dives. So today's is really just an introduction ahead of those sessions. So Craig, without further ado, I will hand the floor over to you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Leon. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a good week so far. As Leon said, my name's Craig Dennett. I'm the account director for Infor Hospitality. I manage all the software solutions across the Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific region. Look, as Leon said, this is the first one of a number of discussion sessions we'd like to engage with you over the coming weeks. And this one is going to be a summary of what those sessions are really going to be talking about, and as an introduction to what we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. And there really are the four basic subject topics there, as Leon has already said. So we're going to talk about the paperless process in Infor software solutions. We're going to touch on how Infor is adopting AI solutions and capabilities within the platform. And then obviously we're going to have a quick chat about the workflow automation and what that's bringing into parts of the software solution. And then Leon will discuss the finance side of things and how that impacts. And these are really part of our four core products within the hospitality suite. So Infor HMS, our property management solution, Infor Easy RMS, or as we're rebranding it, Infor RMS, and Infor Sales and Catering, our sales and catering and event management solution, as well as Infor Sun Systems, probably the most popular finance platform in the hospitality industry today in Australia. So let's kick off the paperless process. I could talk all day about this, and I'll try and keep it brief, as I will for most of these topics. And what is the paperless process? Look, it's all about the environment, how to stop printing reams and reams of paper at your hotels, how to stop you wasting ink cartridges when you really don't need them. All of these things add in significant cost to the operation, as well as adding to that environmental negativity around a business. All of these items have to be disposed of or stored of. And again, it's reducing your carbon footprint by taking all of these items into the cloud. And Infor, we're very much driven by that cloud environment. So what do we do with that paperless process? Oh, it's quite easy. Infor software solutions are all driven in the cloud. So every single time you access Infor platform, you're accessing on an iPad, a device, a laptop, a computer. You don't have to print anything off. And that starts from the very beginning of the process, the check-in process. Your guests are coming to your hotel, and how are you making sure you're looking after and taking care of those guests? We provide the digital registration card signature app. So when your guests come to the front desk, you're not pulling out a piece of paper from a drawer, which today is quite inelegant. You simply present them an iPad. On the iPad is their digital registration card. The guest can obviously update that, add their email address, correct the address that's maybe on there that's incorrectly added onto the system, and fully then saved within the property management solution that we are providing. And again, it's a seamless operation. Not only does it save paperwork, and it also saves your printer cartridges, it's also saving time at the front desk. The checking is quick and easy, and it's also then saving you not having to store that piece of paper somewhere in your business. Checkout again is very simple. You're not printing that folio at the guest and saying, please check on this, have a look, see what's on here. You present that to them on an iPad at front desk. Makes the whole process very elegant, very seamless, and again, it's completely relieving your front desk of papers. But how do we also take that from the management perspective? We talked about the guest, but from a management perspective, you can have an iPad for every single Monday morning meeting. We all have those Monday morning meetings in our hotels when we're working in hotels, of everybody sitting around discussing how the hotel's performed over the week. And you usually come armed with a whole pad of paper that you've printed off to discuss with the general manager and the director of sales and marketing and the conference manager and the food and beverage manager. You can remove all of those with Infor. Have those working on your iPad. You've got your set reports on the iPads, and you simply sit around the desk and on your tables, and you're not printing out those reams and reams of papers. And again, that whole process of, you don't have to have a piece of paper at front desk. You don't have to have that inefficient operation. This is driving a pure efficiency across the entire front office and back office environments. And of course, there's a lot more functionality in those devices. You're removing a pad and paper. You're removing that book that we've all had in the past of, what's my lost and found? Where is everything found and stored? Again, with Infor, we can remove all of those pain points from the operation to make sure that you're really gelling the guest. You're able to answer the guest issue there and then with that device in your hand. And you're not having to go back to the system all the time and look information up on a piece of paper. Cross over here a little bit into AI as well. And again, we'll talk mostly about AI with how the revenue management solutions can work. But voice activation is now a key thing within the iPad solution. You want to check somebody in, you pick the iPad up, check in Leon Burt. The app will find Leon Burt's registration card and start that whole process on the app itself. So again, voice activation is one part of AI. Driving into the housekeeping departments within the hotel. Again, most hotels today in the morning at 7 a.m. will print off a whole pile of papers, hand them to their housekeeping team on a little clipboard with a little biro. Not only is it insecure, because most of those have the guest name on it, that most of the housekeeping teams quite often leave on their housekeeping carts, but the minute you print that report, it's out of date. Infor provides that mobile housekeeping application. It's completely up to date. It knows what the system is doing. A guest checks out from room 101 and there's a VIP going in there. It automatically alerts the housekeeping staff member, room 101 is the next room you must service because you have a VIP arriving early in the morning, so let's get that done. And it's a digital room attendant assignment system. You do away again with more paperwork. You're not printing out documents. You're not being out of date. Everything is in real time. The housekeeping teams are walking around with an iPod or an Android device, and your supervisor is walking around with an iPad. Again, not having to go down to the phone on the end of the corridor to find out what's going on in room 301. Has the guest in 653 checked out yet? Because we need it for a very, very important guest. And again, it makes that whole process quickly and easily. Everybody knows where that room is up to. And we have clients around the globe who tell us it's made our check-in process at front desk speedier because we're turning the rooms quicker. Where it used to be front desk chasing the housekeeping teams, now it's the other way around. The housekeeping team are chasing front desk. Why isn't Mr. Smith checked out yet? And it just makes that whole process a lot quicker and easy. Of course, we add in lost and found. You have a ring found in a guest room. The housekeeping staff can immediately take a photograph on that device, and it saves into the system and logs into the system in a very secure manner. And security is paramount to all of what we do with Infor. Obviously, we're backed by Amazon, who is our primary database manager, and we utilize the latest technologies with the Amazon cloud. We also scale up into the guest experience. So we've gone from the front desk, we've gone from the back office, and we've gone to the housekeeping teams. But also we can extend that to the guest experience. So when your guest comes to check into the hotel, we know a lot of your guests are return guests. We know a lot of your guests are time conscious. So send them the pre-check-in email. Welcome to the hotel. You're checking in tomorrow. Here's the full check-in screen from basically from the PMS that you've got in front of your front desk, but it's in a mobile app and it's tailored for your guest. The guest can select their own room if you want them to. The guest can tell you what time they're coming. So again, that goes back to your housekeeping team. So your housekeeping teams are fully aware of what time you're going to be arriving at the hotel. Do you want to upload an ID or a passport information? More importantly, and this is a cash generator, this is a complete revenue generator, add things onto that booking. Do you have a distressed inventory tonight? Can you upsell that guest from a standard room to a superior room, or from a superior room to a suite, and add on another $75 to their room rate? Is the guest there for a special occasion? Do they want a box of flowers a bunch of flowers in the room, or a box of chocolates, or a bottle of champagne? All of that can work really well and nicely into the guest experience. And then obviously that last paperless thing we have is that analytics solution, and is an optional add-on to Infor HMS, where more than 2,000 reports and dissectional reports, you can cross-compare information from demographics to country to arrival dates, who's coming in and when, to make sure you know your guest, you know the revenue of the guest, and you can pull all those reports out for your owners, your operators, your managers, your heads of departments. And that's really where we see that analytics piece sitting into the equation. And again, a lot of different reports can be pulled out, whether they're graphic or tabular. Extract them into Excel if you want to make them even more requirements from in your internal business. And it really gives you that power to control your business and manage your business. So let's now move on to AI, the second part of the conversation today. Within the sphere of what we do with Infor, we work a lot in AI. What is AI? Well, it's a very basic premise. Artificial intelligence is how we're making computers smart, to make them a bit more human-like, enabling to learn, to think, and as it says here, to really start making their decisions on their own. And here's where Infor RMS really grasps that and takes it to the nth level. The AI in use in a hotel can be very, very powerful indeed. Artificial intelligence is as simple as asking Spotify to play Taylor Swift. That's an easy artificial intelligence. But we're taking the AI two steps beyond that. We're now looking at the power of the data in your system. It's looking at the booking process. It's looking at the premise of how that booking is arriving at your hotel, when the guest is arriving, how far away they booked in days and months and weeks, to really make a pattern of every single guest that comes to your hotel. The machine behind AI, and we call it deep learning, starts to think, it starts to understand, it starts to comprehend, and the machine starts learning patterns in your business. This then allows you to drive your forecasting more accurately, so you can make sure that every single day when your pricing team are sitting down, your revenue management team are sitting down and saying, where should our pricing be? The machine will tell you, the system Infor RMS will guide you through that whole process. We'll never take away a revenue manager's role, but it makes that revenue manager's role a whole lot better. You become better at your job because it's getting better at its job. And the machine literally will start making decisions. And no two hotels are the same when it comes to RMS. No two hotels have exactly the same pattern. And we don't deploy the same model and mentality to every single hotel. RMS will start learning your business. It will start to estimate, and it will start to guess, and it will really start to make sure that your hotel is driving those dynamic pricing strategies. And we're not also talking about just pure room rates. RMS is smart enough to take in the accommodation, but also your food and beverage, your minibar, your spa. It takes your revenue business to the next level because it's simply not looking just at your room revenue. It's looking at holistic. What is my business generating in money, and what is my best rate for today? Is it a best rate including a package? Should I include my spa packages? Should I have a minimum stay? Should I have a maximum stay? Should I have a close or open to arrival? And we're dynamically changing those rates for you and making those recommendations, which you can then adopt, alter, and then send into your PMS, onto your OTAs, your online channels. And again, we can do that also with meeting spaces in your hotels, and the often neglected side of a hotel where you're thinking, what is my meeting space rate for today? Should it be the same every day, or should it be as dynamic as my room rates? And we say, yes, you can. As a segue then for also with Infor and AI is our ability of actually using that in the call center environment. And one of our new modules that we're sitting alongside EasyRMS and HMS is our call center. And again, that's going to introduce the ability for the call center attendant to upsell to a guest when they're making a reservation. Most hotels still have guests who like to phone up to the hotel and ask for a hotel room, and we can automate that process as well. Just making sure that you're not just, everything's not being run on a preset rule, you're recommending the right upsell to the right guest at the right time. And that really sums up what we do with revenue management. The idea about revenue management is, and also the call center module with the artificial intelligence built in. You're selling the right product to the right guest at the right time at the right price for the right duration, and more specifically on the right channel. Again, we know that your channels, some channels cost you more than others, and you're there to maximize revenue and to maximize the return on your investment and to maximize your processes. And that leads us to segue to workflow processes. What are workflow processes? Well, it can be highlighted. The best way of highlighting a great workflow process within an Infor solution is within Infor Sales and Catering. We have a fantastic tool that we call the Event Lifecycle Technology. And what does that mean? Well, you have a banquet operation in your hotel. You have a banquet business. You've got your meeting rooms and your conference spaces. But you have that guest on the phone asking for a price. You have a guest on the room who isn't sure what dates they want to be on. And you build all of that into the profile into Infor Sales and Catering. And when that guest phones you back and says, I like your price. Yes, I can do that date. Let's confirm it. Most of the time, what do you do in your business? Infor Sales and Catering has a life cycle sitting behind that. As that guest phones up and that PCO, the conference organizer phones you back and says, yes, I want that room. Yes, I want that event on that day. And yes, I want to go ahead and make the reservation. You simply click on one little button in Infor Sales and Catering, and behind the scenes, it starts taking over. It starts to send out a confirmation email. It goes through a change in the system. You may have accommodation rooms behind the event that you're hosting at your hotel. So again, it starts to confirm those hotel rooms for your hotel, your conference organizer and the booking agent. And it's a step-by-step prompt for you to do something. It's transparent. So you say, yes, this has now gone from being a tentative inquiry to a confirmed booking. Infor Sales and Catering will then start to update itself, and everybody knows in business exactly what's going on for that event at any one time. And again, the beauty of this is no two hotels are the same on how that process should work. So we give you the flexibility and the configuration within Sales and Catering to change the way the life cycle technology actually works in your business. We don't dictate how that works for you. You tell the system, when I change this status, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And then it starts generating those tasks and reminders. You then have to tell chef, you need to order in 15 chickens. You need to order in 25 loaves of bread. You need to order in coffee. You need to order in tea. Here's the menu we're going to put together. And it's triggering all of those pieces of information that's going to each individual department within the hotel to make sure they're fully aware and fully around exactly what is going on inside the business. And again, this is how we drive efficiencies within the platform. One of the things we always talk about, going paperless, AI, efficiency. It's an efficiency-driven solution. And the minute you start doing that, it then starts creating the documents behind all of these. In the past, you've had documents that you send out to a conference organizer where you've had to chop and change all those components. But because how you've set the system up, because of how the system's been designed, the system chops and changes those documents for you. So you're not having to remove from a Word document, because Infor Sales and Catering knows which components you need. It knows when you're sending a letter to the PCO. It knows when you're sending a letter to the banquets person at the conference end of what needs to be on that document. And again, we produce those documents for you, and it speeds up that whole process and makes it wholly efficient. So your banquets team can get on with doing what your banquets team should be doing, not spending time at their computer messing with a piece of technology, but using the technology to allow them to do their job better, to serve the guests better, and again, generate better profits for the hotel. And then we have the accounts and contacts within Infor Sales and Catering. Basically a mini CRM, a business-to-business CRM for your operation. This solution allows you to have that, as it says here, it's that really rich client relationship management and a database where you're looking at buying history. Who's called who when, and who made that call. All is transparent within Infor Sales and Catering. No more having to ask the person, asking your colleague at the desk, did you phone the guy at Telstra last week to confirm this? Did you phone the guy at CBA last week to confirm that? You log all of that into Infor Sales and Catering, and your entire sales team, if anybody that has access to the Infor Sales and Catering solution, can look at that and know exactly what the status of that account is and how important that account is and the person that's booking it. And again, you can have your guests that are staying, your PCOs, the organizers, the finance people that are paying the bills, all of those built into a very, very feature-rich account management solution structure. And that really hands over to Leon, who is now going to have a chat to you about the finance side of things within the platform. So Leon.
Okay, thanks, Craig. Thanks heaps for that. That was insightful, really was, on all the operating modules within the Infor suite. So appreciate that. What we're looking at here is a one-pager of the Infor Sun Systems solution when it's deployed in the cloud. So this is the way that we deploy it at Aquam for our hospitality clients. So looking at the screen, it's a little bit hard to read, but we generally deploy 3 modules. So 3 functional modules, one being the accounting module, which produces all your reporting, does all your GST, looks after all your debtors, and it's your core accounting module. We also deploy the corporate allocations or intercompany module for spreading shared services across organisations, for spreading or for accounting for intercompanies as well. And the third module that we will put out to the hospitality market is the fixed assets module. So you can handle all your book depreciation, all your tax depreciation. You can account for all your assets. So fixed assets is certainly one we deploy out there a lot. Now, one of the things that our customers love about the product is a product called Q&A, Infor Query and Analysis. So Infor Query and Analysis is an Excel tool which allows the finance department, not the IT department, but the finance department to self-serve and run reports over the accounting module, the corporate allocations module, and the fixed assets module. It is truly a system owned or a module owned by finance, and it uses that native Excel skill that every accountant has. So that is definitely one that is very popular with our client base. Now, Looking at that, they're the modules that we have, and I suppose that the question is why is Sun Systems the product of choice within hospitality? So one aspect of that is its transaction analysis dimensionality. So we have the ability within Sun Systems to be able to store a stack of metadata on the transactions, not just the accounting information, but also things like holding the property ID, the department, the outlet, the project. You might want to record start dates on projects, end dates on projects, milestones within projects. We can handle all of that within the accounting module, the corporate allocations and fixed assets modules. So we hold all that information. We also hold and bring across from our PMS or from our different feeder systems information relating to the market segment. So things like, where does the business come from? Is it from airlines? Is it from group tours? So that type of thing is all stored on the transaction within Infor Sun Systems. We also store things like the meal type or the beverage type in the finance system. So you start to get this picture of all this information held within your finance system being able to be reported upon using that Excel tool, Q&A. So holding dimensionality and deep insights on the financial transaction, that is one reason why the market loves it. Another reason that we get great uptake within the hospitality arena is our use of the USALI principles. So the USALI principles that really provide structure over the hotel industry. We deploy that within each and every one of our hotel deployments. So we think that's a very powerful thing, and it's something that we're really quite proud of at Aquam about having built up. Third thing I was just going to run through quickly was fixed assets. Just explain that a little bit further. So we can hold book and tax registers. We can do forecasting of depreciation, and then we can do all the grouping that you require in your hotel for your assets, where the asset's located, what sort of class the asset is, which department or outlet is using the asset, and those types of things. So we can do all that, and then what we can do is we can actually split depreciation across different departments as well, where you've got shared assets. So looking at the core product, they're the reasons that we get great uptake in the market for Sun Systems, and then just when you deploy with the cloud, you get the wraparound. So we call it an Infor OS wraparound or wrap-up, which sits over and above the product and is available when you sell into the cloud. So we have data fabric services. So just to outline that, that's essentially it's a data lake. So you can bring up Sun Systems information, you can bring up information from your PMS, you can bring up information from other areas of the business, and you can store it all centrally within the Infor data lake, which is a very powerful thing. It comes just comes as part of the subscription price when you purchase Infor Sun Systems. Machine learning, Craig's talked to that. We have different machine learning and AI capability within Infor. Craig's talked about the hospitality specific ones. We also have a Coleman AI engine, which comes as part of the multi-tenant offering from Infor. We have a document repository. So imagine being able to store supplier contracts on a supplier record within Sun Systems. That's what IDM does. We can hold pictures of your assets. We can hold different non-Sun Systems specific information all within a central Infor document management system. We add to that process and automation of workflows. This all comes part of the Infor as part of the Infor OS wrapper. And that's in addition to what Craig's mentioned before in the hospitality products. Extensibility. So what extensibility provides is the ability to add on modules into Sun Systems. So we can provide extensibility via the Infor Mongoose engine that comes part of the product. We can add collaboration to the tool set as well. So you might have conversations happening within the team. We can use our collaboration engine to set up those communications and have a record of those as well. When you go and purchase Infor, you've got single sign-on. It's almost a given now that you'll have single sign-on in applications, but we certainly provide that within the cloud. A single sign-on for when you jump into Sun Systems, when you jump into Q&A, all part of the one login that your users have. And then just finally, just to explain the integration and API gateway that we have. So if you're wanting to connect from a third-party application, our open APIs within Infor OS will allow you to do that. We'll be able to, you can send information into Sun Systems, you can send information out of Sun Systems using that gateway. So there's a lot in the Infor Sun Systems subscription now. It's not just the product, it's all those additional things over the top. And it's certainly getting good take up in the market. And we hope you will enjoy it. Look, that's all I wanted to go through with the Sun Systems side of things. And that concludes our presentation today, all the formal content. So Craig, thank you very much for your presentation. Do appreciate it.
You're welcome. Always great chatting to you, Liam.
Thank you.